and welcome to the first summer 8-week session of Math 263, Brief Calculus. My name is Debbie Mills, and I will be your instructor for this course. I wanted to go over a few things with you to help you get started successfully. First, this is normally a 16-week class, that in the summer is only 8 weeks, obviously. And so during the 16-week semester, students are expected to spend at least 10 hours a week working on Math 263. Which includes in-class time. So for this online class, please expect to spend at least 20 hours a week working on this class. Second, please be sure that you purchase WebAssign and get it as soon as possible. And also be sure that you have access to the full version of Microsoft Excel, not just the online version. The online version does not have all the tools you'll need, and you won't be successful in the class unless you have the full version. You can use either Excel 2010 or Excel 2016. My videos use Excel 2010, and so there's going to be some initial differences in how to find things. If you get stuck, you can kind of usually find it if you search around. You can Google it, or you can email me, and I'll help you. Second, I'm going to go over how to get started in this class by moving over to Blackboard and going over how the course is laid out.
Okay, here in Blackboard, the first thing that you're going to want to do is complete the FERPA agreement, which is here in this tab. Click Begin. And I've already completed it, so you just sign your name, read through it, and sign your name in 2 places. And then you're also going to need to take the course entry quiz by clicking this tab, which I've also already done. Click here in this blue, and this is not for a grade, but you can't access any of the lessons for the class until you've taken this course entry quiz. So I took it. You might even want to pause the video right now to complete these tasks, because it's very important, so that the week 1A lessons and 1B lessons become available to you. And you want to do that just as soon as possible. Okay, next is the announcements tab. I will make any important announcements and reminders here. You should check your Wake Tech email daily as well. The announcements that are put here will be emailed to your Wake Tech email address. Next is the Getting Started tab. Click there and read about course organization, frequently asked questions, and grading. You can find the syllabus, the expectations for course success, the testing calendar, the e-learning testing center schedule, and how to get a Wake Tech ID badge, which you will need to take tests in the ELTC. The Faculty Information tab is a quick place to access my office hours. I'm going to try to use Google Hangouts to have virtual office hours on Tuesdays from 8 to 9 p.m. So be on the lookout on Tuesdays for a link in the announcements to access Google Hangouts. The next tab is extremely important. It is the Lessons tab. Here you will find the folders that will contain the half-week folders. Week 1A is for the first half of week 1, and week 1B is for the second half of week 1. I put dates underneath them to help guide you, but notice that sometimes the dates overlap. For example, week 1A folder has information for May 16 through 19, and week 1B has information for May 18 through 22. That way, if you get finished early with one folder, you can move to the next. And remember, you can't see these folders in the Lessons tab until you take and sign the FERPA agreement and the course. If we click on week 1A, you will find the week 1A checklist. suggest that you print these out. I also suggest that you print the week 1A and the week 1B checklists at the same time, and the week 2A and 2B checklists at the same time every week, because they're half weeks. In each checklist, you will find important announcements, any assignments, and general guidelines for the week. For example, in this checklist, you have the reminder to register for the Smarter Proctoring tool through Blackboard, and that is where you'll sign up to take your test in the eLearning Testing Center. Okay, I'm in Student Preview, and I've already taken the FERPA and the course entry quiz, so I can see my week 1A and week 1B. And I'm going to click on the Early Excel Basics folder. You can scroll through by clicking the page numbers over here, or you can click here. Page 2 is a direct link to the discussion board. Page 3 is the Intro to Excel video, which is a YouTube video. Page 4 is a PowerPoint, which gives you some algebra review and reminders on how to enter functions into Excel. Page 5 is a video on how to use GoalSeek in Excel. Page 6 is an Excel file, which goes over how to find the ARC, the average rate of change in Excel. Page 7 directs you to the pages in the lab manual to go with this lesson. Page 8 is the key to some of those lab manual problems. Page 9 is the Excel Check 1 that is referred to in the week 1 weekly checklist right here. It's due May 19th at 11:59, but you can complete it when you're ready. You are to complete problem 4 in the lab manual in the modeling real world situations. You're going to use Microsoft Excel, the full version, and remember, you've got to use the full version, not just the online version. You're going to use Excel, save your file, and then browse your computer and upload the file, and then submit. Finally, page 10 is just an extra video from Mrs. Markovich, which goes over what I went over in the earlier videos. Okay, let's look at week 1B. And we'll look at the week 1B checklist. And notice that you have a quiz and a week 1B collaboration and discussion, and they're both due on May 22nd. And then also notice that the discussion is an attendance check. I will have 1 to 3 attendance checks per week, and this is important. If you miss 4 attendance checks, then I can drop you from the class. Notice that there are 3 learning folders in week 1B. Piecewise Functions, which has 1 video, and then Functions Early Review, that has 3 videos, and then Quadratic Function, that has 4 videos. And then week 1B also has a discussion board posting, and there is a quiz over market equilibrium and piecewise functions. And so, as you can see, week 1B, which is actually the second half of week 1, will take more time to complete than week 1A, which is the first half of week 1. And that's why it's important for you to look at both half weeks so that you can plan your week out. Okay, let's go back to the tabs. In the collaboration tab, you're going to find the discussion board prompts. Next is the WebAssign tab. You'll have web assignments, and they count for a grade. Let's see how much they count. Go back to getting started. Right here. WebAssign is 8% of your grade. And you have to access WebAssign through this tab. Since I'm in student mode, it'll say I'm not currently listed in any courses. If this happens to you, that just send me an email. I can't send the roster until class actually starts. Right, moving on. Finally, at the bottom here, I'll probably move this tab right up under WebAssign. But the next tab I want to talk to you about is the Smarter Proctoring tab. If I click on it, this is where you're going to sign up for time to take your test in the ELTC. And there are centers in the on South, North, Western, and Perry Health Sciences campuses. And I will have places for you. You'll see Test 1 and you'll sign up. For example, our Test 1 window, which you can find in Getting Started, is Wednesday, May 30th through Thursday, May 31st. So you'll need to sign up for a time to come in to take Test 1 on that Wednesday or that Thursday at an available time. And I suggest that you do that as soon as possible, and then write down the correct day and time in your personal calendar. Okay, another tab is the Course Resources tab, which is where you will find the lab manual. You can also come by my office during office hours and pick up a copy of the lab manual. The final tab of note is the My Grades tab. And I try to keep that updated as much as possible. Please feel free to email me with any questions that you have. If you have a WebAssign question, I love it when students send me a screenshot of the problem and what you put in the blank, and that way I'm often able to answer the question on the go. Okay, that's it. I hope this video helps, and I look forward to working with you.